Now, we're going to dive deep and look at a lot of different things over these 12 modules in 6 months. Now, I want to just put your mind at ease here because a lot of other programs, a lot of other coaches, a lot of other therapy, in fact, actually brings you back and has you relive different experiences again in order for you to learn from them and grow. And NLP and belief clearing and Reiki, even, we are going to potentially need to heal from things. We are going to need to learn lessons from things, but we do not need to go back and revisit individual experiences, certainly ones that are of a traumatic nature. Now, that doesn't mean that they get pushed aside and we pretend like they didn't exist. It just means that you are going through this process in a very safe and moderated way, which allows us to use NLP techniques to actually look at things from a different perspective so that we actually are more like a fly on the wall watching rather than having something happen to us. So it removes a lot of the emotion from that situation and allows us to take a different perspective in order to learn, heal, and grow. So I want to make sure that no matter what background you have, and no matter what you think is holding you back and causing this lack of love or acceptance or respect of yourself, that you don't need to worry and fear about having to go back and re-experience those things. We shouldn't be bringing up traumatic experiences in this process, but we are going to be doing a lot of reflection and a lot of self-discovery on what power we actually have. Now, in doing that, we're going to look at several different processes. We're going to look at your language. We're also going to look at your unhealed ego and how we can heal that. We're going to look at your inner child and what he or she needed then, which most definitely he or she still needs now, and how you can actually make sure that those needs get met. We're going to look at our own belief systems, the different types of beliefs that we have, mostly limiting about our lives and our place in the world and our own abilities, for example. And we're going to take a good look at how that's affecting our lives and what we can do to then change that, replace those beliefs with beliefs that are more serving our highest good, allowing us to flow rather than getting in our way of success. We're also going to look at exactly what it is that we want, how to figure out what to focus on when we're trying to actually create a goal and then manifest that goal into reality, how we can get very crystal clear on what it is that we want so that we work with ourselves rather than against ourselves. Because these are the moments when these two sides of ourselves tend to pop up. One side that really wants this thing that we've just written down or thought about or brainstormed with somebody else about. And then the other side that seems to sabotage us, right? That just doesn't want that same thing. So when we get very crystal clear about what we want, we can also take a look at those two sides and realize that they actually have a lot more in common than we originally thought. And we can work with them to have them figure out how to integrate together and work together instead of, again, getting in your way of achieving what it is that you want. So we're shifting your perspective on how you are experiencing your life and your place in your own world. And we're doing that by having a rethink about all of these things that you very much have control over in your life. In fact, you're the only one that does have this control. We're also going to look at really fun and interesting things like when we have a thought and an idea about something, who's the who's the voice in our head? Where did that come from? When we notice that voice in our head, who's the one that noticed that? It's going to allow us to deepen our spiritual journey, no matter where you are on that path. We're also going to look at our cycles, the cycles of the moon and the cycles of menstruation if you are female. And if you're not menstruating any longer or not at all for whatever reason, then we look to the cycles of the moon because they go hand in hand. And we can look at when we're going to achieve those goals that we've worked hard to identify. We've got our two sides on the same team working to make sure that we're able to do this together instead of sabotaging ourselves. That we can actually set these goals for ourselves with our cycle in mind. So again, we stop getting in our own way. Every step of this program is about raising our awareness to what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we can do it differently so that we meet our needs, which never need to change, but the way that we're going about them can be tackled, making sure that we're always going about things for our highest good. And that creates a love and acceptance of respect of ourselves that is deeper than anything you've ever known before. Won't you join me?